Hello, everyone. In this section, we will introduce two final topics of this chapter. They are service dominant logic and the open systems view of services. First, about service dominant logic. Service dominant logic is a concept established as compared to product dominant logic. And one way to know service dominant logic is by knowing their foundation premises. Actually, there are 10 premises about service dominant logic. Let's review this in turn. The first one, service is the fundamental basis of exchange. Service is the fundamental basis of exchange. So in the service economy, I service you and you service me. So we exchange service for each other for our benefits. And second, indirect exchange masks the basis of exchange. Indirect exchange masks the basis of exchange. So the exchange of service are indirect in nature. Lots of things involved in the exchange. So it's indirect exchange in nature. And the goods are distribution mechanisms for service provisions. Even in service economy, we also need physical product, also need goods. Since goods are distribution mechanisms for service provisions. And fourth, operant resources are a source of competitive advantage. Here, operant resources means active resources. They are things like knowledge or skill. So the knowledge or skills, you can leverage your current resources as operant resources to create your own differentiated advantages that are called operant resources. So your knowledge and the skills to apply your resources to make most benefits from them, then the knowledge and skills are your source of competitive advantages. They are also called operant resources. And next, all economies are service economies. So in service economies, all economic activities are related to service economies. And next, the customer is always a co-creator of value. As we emphasized before, customer and the service provider, they work together to co-create value for themselves. So customer is always a co-creator of value. They actively involved in the service processes. And next, our service-centered view is customer-oriented and the relational service-centered view. Customer-oriented, so it's related. It's inconsistent with the concept of marketing, customer-oriented concept. Also, it's relational. It means the relationship between service provider and customers is more important than transactional relationship. So we emphasize the relational. That means relationship marketing is important in the service economy situation. And next, all economic and social actors are resource integrators. Okay, so in order to make most from the service encounter, all economic and social actors or involved stakeholders are resource integrators. That means they had to combine resources from different areas to make most for the resources. And the last one, value is uniquely determined by the beneficiary. Uniquely determined by the beneficiary. It's a little bit abstract, but since the value is the result of co-creation between service provider and customers. And what is the value of this service process? It should be determined by the beneficiary. Only the beneficiary can judge, can tell how good is the value of the service process. Okay, so far is 10, we introduced 10 foundation premises of service dominant logic. And these premises lay the foundation of the development of service dominant logic concept and practical applications. And finally, the best way to look at the services is from the open system point of view. So let's have a look at the open systems view of services. Here, since we emphasize the customer center, so we start from the customer. Here we have customer demand. It related with perceived needs and locations. Customer demand related to their perceived needs and locations. And for the customer demand, we have personnel. The service provider is service personnel. And service personnel need proper empowerment, training, and to establish, to present good attitudes toward their customers. Okay, but between customer demand and service personnel, we have service operations manager. Service operation managers, they include production functions, service production functions. They had the responsibility to monitor and control process. Also for the marketing functions, they need to interact with customers. Also, they had to control demand. And for the marketing functions, they had to define standard service package as we introduced before. One way to look at service from system point of view, so we can use service package to describe the service we offer. And under this viewpoint, service packages includes supporting facility, facilitating goods, explicit services, and implicit services. And these service packages are the basis for the service personnel, or basis of selections. So the major weapons, major tools for service personnel are from the service packages. Also, the service package is the major services we offer to our customers. So they need to market to our target customers. So we need to communicate by advertising to help our customer know the details of the detail and the benefit of our service packages. So the service operations managers, they define standard service packaging, and sometimes they had to modify as necessary since the customer needs change or macro environment changed. And another part, let's look at the service process. So after customer demand, customer arrival is input of the system. So then the customer face the service process. In service process, consumer participant And the consumer provider interface. The interface is important for consumer and the service provider, since they had to co-create the value of the service. And after service process, consumer departure is the output. And for this output, we need to evaluate its quality, its performance, its outcomes. So we have evaluation criteria, measurements, and these measurements are supported for the reference of the service operation managers, so they can get feedback. They can monitor the performance of the service process. And for the balance of demand and supply, the service operation managers can use marketing or any possible ways to change the demand, alter the demand. Also, they can schedule supply for the purpose of balancing the demand and supply. So that's the open systems view of service. We can look at from input, process, output, and the several subsystems with interactions. So this system gives us a holistic view of the service. So give us a more supported, more good views about the service. So open systems is one way to look at the system. So all the following chapters, all the concepts, we can address them, we can approach them from this point of view. Okay, that's all of this section and this chapter. Thank you for your watching and listening. Hope we can see in next section. Thank you all. See you.